Okay, we are live. All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Blazers Uprise podcast. It's a Wednesday. We're in between games. Blazers lost last night to the Pelicans as a tough loss. Blazers are likely going to lose tomorrow because of who's going to be out for them, and they're in Milwaukee going against the Bucks, which is probably the best team in the East. Let me fix my hat. All right, there we go. We're good to go. So we'll talk about the injury report. We'll talk about that game. But first, we had news that broke about 2 hours before this show, and that is that the Blazers waived Pau Gasol. Now, Pau Gasol's injury rehab has been an issue, and it was obvious that it was taking a lot longer than expected. And the dude's 39, recovering from injuries and rehabbing from injuries is a lot tougher at that age, and it has been tough for Pau Gasol. And a lot of people are comparing this to the Festus Ezeli situation. I think it's a bit different because it was announced today that he was waived because of how long the rehab was taking, but they want to keep him in a coaching role. They want to keep him around the organization. I'm just going to nip the Ezeli comparisons at the bud because I saw a couple of those comparisons. Ezeli was a guy they didn't really want around the organization. He caused some drama by telling the team what they needed to do when he was out. CJ McCollum ended up yelling at him in the locker room once about it. So Ezeli was a guy that couldn't wait to get out of there. Pau Gasol is a guy they're going to keep around as a big man coach, which Eric, me and you have asked for a big man coach for the past couple of years.
For sure.
And now Portland is back down to 14 men on the roster. Now they have an open roster spot again, so they can go out and sign someone. They can leave that roster spot open, but I feel like they might not have made this move if they weren't going to go sign somebody with that roster spot, because why release Pau if you're not going to use the roster spot that opens up from releasing him? You know what I mean? Like, what would be especially if you want him around the organization?
So apparently he had a clause in his contract where if he wasn't ready to play 6 months after his surgery, I don't remember when the surgery date was, but apparently they could have waived him or like voided the contract or something like that. So it could have just been simply we signed Melo, and now this helps us recoup some of that tax money from having to pay Melo. Because Jason Quick's reporting that we're not going to use that open roster spot,
okay, I didn't see
at least right now. But he's also been reporting that we will not trade Whiteside or Bazemore this year either. So I hope he's wrong on all of those.
Let me just say this, man. If we're not willing to trade Whiteside or Bazemore right now, then that's absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean? If they're untouchable, there's no way that's the case. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's something that comes a month or two down the line. But as I've said, Kenneth Faried is a guy I want. We need help rebounding. Skal wasn't a great rebounder. I think Faried next to Skal would make sense. But it's just kind of sad, man. I wanted to see Pau play in a Blazers uniform. That passing big man could have really helped our half-court offense off the bench. I was a believer that he was a guy who could help us, who could help this team. Especially as kind of just a leader on that bench unit to help us move the ball a bit. Now he's not going to see time in a Blazers uniform unless after his rehab, and Portland still has that open roster spot. I believe they could then re-sign him.
So what it sounded like is that his rehab could go anywhere from 6 to 12 months, and they found out recently that it's going to be closer to the 12 months than the 6 months, which would put him out for the whole season. So even if we had an open roster spot, I don't think he's going to be ready to play.
I mean, I'm saying if he gets cleared and is ready to play, you know what I'm saying? Like if he, you know what I mean? So yeah, definite chance Pau might not play this season. It sounds like he wants to play because I did watch that clip that he released talking about how he was being waived and how he's still going to work to get back to playing the game he loves. So it sounds like he still wants to play. He doesn't want to retire yet. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm just saying if we have, especially if we do like a 2-for-1 trade at the deadline and he like that rehab takes 8-9 months. I mean, maybe in March, maybe you could re-sign him. Especially since he'll be around the organization already as a coach. That's just speaking hypothetically. Now, I'm not like expecting that. Good chance he's out for the season. I'm just saying if he's able to get healthy before then that might be a guy we might bring back in.
The timing kind of makes sense if you are a believer that we're only going to keep Melo until his his guaranteed date of January 7th. That gives Gasol a full month and a half before we'd have to pay him if we picked him back up again. Real quick, to anyone who's saying we should have cut Hazonia instead or any of those kind of moves, if you cut those guys, you have to pay them their full salary. All the contracts on the team other than Melo's are fully guaranteed. They just happen to have a void opt-out clause in Gasol's contract if he didn't play by a certain date, which they exercised today. And it sounds like Gasol is fine with that, but he wants to remain with the team in another role, at least while he's rehabbing. And this just kind of takes the pressure off of, when's he going to play? When's he going to play? When are you going to be ready?
Yeah.
So he can focus on his rehab instead of doing that. But it was not an option to cut Hazonia or to cut Tolliver at this point. And we need those guys as salary filler and to open up roster spots without having to pay their full salary later on in about 4 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing is that $1.5 million contract could be useful in terms of matching salary at the trade deadline in order to bring in a player with a big salary, bigger salary than we're sending out. We saw 2 minimum level contracts used last year to get Rodney Hood. We traded Stauskas and we traded Wade Baldwin in 2 second-round picks. Those minimum level contracts help facilitate a trade. And we have to have 14 people on the roster, so that's the thing. It makes no sense to cut those guys. I'm not a fan of Hazonia, but it makes literally no sense to cut him. But yeah, so Pau Gasol is probably not going to see time in a Blazer uniform. Portland's been in the news a lot the past week or so. You got the Melo signing. Now you got Pau Gasol being waived. I think there was something else that I'm forgetting. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't. But
Dame being out.
Dame being out. Yeah, man. It's a lot of attention around Portland this week, which kind of sucks because we're 5-10, about to go 5-11. That's tomorrow night on TNT. We're about to get embarrassed on TNT. So here's the deal tomorrow, right? Collins and Nurkic are out. We know that. Damian Lillard's going to be out again, which it's the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're going to punt a game that you're probably going to lose. But that's what they're doing. They're punting, I think. You got Simons, who's questionable, and you got Hassan Whiteside, who's questionable. If Simons doesn't play, we have one guard, basically.
You're looking at Trent playing big minutes.
Yeah, you're looking at Hazonia, like, legitimately being the backup point guard. And Trent playing, big minutes.
Bazemore and Hood would have to play big minutes at the 2. CJ would have to be the basically 35-minute point guard.
If we're gonna punt that game, I'd call up Horde and Moses Brown and let them get a lot of run tomorrow.
Yeah,
like we're going to lose this game by more than 20.
That's what sucks about Simons if he doesn't play is even though he didn't have a great game last game, I like having him in those situations where he's getting like he started and got to play major minutes,
Yeah. Melo is literally going to shoot like 50 times tomorrow night. Like it's going to be the belt. You know what? It's going to be entertaining.
Why not?
It's going to be entertaining to watch Melo.
Yeah.
Against Giannis. We're going to lose by 30, man. It's as much of a scheduled loss as I've seen in a long time. Like a long time.
The thing that sucks is they're playing tonight, though, so they're coming off a back-to-back. And it's not any thought that was just the back spasms was just an excuse for load management to give Dame a night off. That obviously isn't the case. It's obviously something that's bugging him.
I mean, you could kind of tell with the way he was playing,
Yeah.
He wasn't playing like himself. He was playing like something was bothering him and something, the back spasms. were bothering him. Rodney Hood had those, and he seems fine now. So hopefully Dame is good to go. Hopefully against Cleveland, because Cleveland is a team a lot like the Pelicans in terms of stature. Cleveland, Kevin Love's been out a little bit. I don't know if he'll still be out for that game, but like that's the thing. After this Milwaukee game is the last like tough game for a while. Because after this Milwaukee game, we got at Cleveland, game we should win. Hopefully Dame's back for that game. That's why I don't mind resting him for the Bucks. And then at Chicago.
Yep.
And then we come home. Let's see our schedule here. And then we come home and we play the Thunder at home.
At Chicago again.
Then
right?
Chicago again at home. I hate how they put like two Eastern, like the same Eastern Conference team like that close together. Like that's the only two times we play a bowl. It's like in the same stretch. Then we go on the road for the Clippers. That's a tough game. But then at home against the Kings, game we should win. Home against the Lakers, that'll be tough. But who knows? Then home against the Thunder, Knicks. Home against the Knicks. Like these are some winnable games coming up. On the road against the Nuggets, that's gonna be a tough one. But then against the Suns, against the Warriors, against the Magic, against the Timberwolves, the Pelicans. That stretch is a lot of games that we should win or have a good chance at winning. There's really only 3 games in that stretch that I'd say we shouldn't be favored in. Even the Suns game on the road, like Suns have played a lot of home games. I think that team's overrated right now. I think that team has overachieved. I think that's still a game we should win. We should be favored in because I'm assuming we're going to start playing better and start figuring things out.
I'm kind of agreeing with Alvaro though, man. He's saying every time you say this, we should win these games or go through a good stretch. We're not playing well, so I don't think we're playing good enough for any of these games to be good enough to win.
I'm thinking Dame gets rested. Dame gets back to playing like how he was at the start of the season, right? If we had Dame playing like normal Dame yesterday, we win. We win that game, I think. Dame is such a huge difference maker. We needed Dame in that game. So we're talking about hopefully getting him back to how he was playing. CJ's starting to play better. CJ's starting to score a little bit better. I think Melo will be a help. Melo will be better than Tolliver. We were playing Tolliver like 25 minutes per game, so Melo's an upgrade over that. Nasir Little is coming on. Rodney Hood's still playing really, really solid. Like there's some signs that this team is going to start playing better. Maybe not the style of basketball we want, but there have been brief flashes here and there. More flashes of ball movement, more flashes of good player movement than we've seen earlier on this season. In the past week, we've seen some flashes of that. So if we can kind of keep cultivating that, if we can move the ball a little bit better, keep on working on that, and then Dame gets rested, gets healthy, CJ's out of his slump, Nasir Little's playing well and getting better. He was 5 for 6 yesterday with 2 for 2 on threes with good defense, and Melo's an upgrade over Tolliver. Like there's reason to believe that Portland will be a better team and Portland will start to figure things out. And they have a homestand coming up, and usually a homestand like that kind of helps a team start to gain confidence, figure things out on the court. So that is my optimistic belief of what will happen.
For sure. I'm just not counting wins until I see them. I'm not counting
wins. I'm saying these are games that we should be favored in. These are games that we should win if we're playing solid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying we will win. I'm saying we should win these games. Because we should play better than how we've been playing. Not saying that we will. I'm just saying we should. And it's a lot easier schedule. And that's the thing. After this Milwaukee game, hopefully we get Dame back, and it's just like a whole different road ahead compared to what we've used to, where it's like, oh, now we got Houston on the road coming up. Oh, now we got Dame out against New Orleans. Oh, now we got, this team sucks anyway. Now we got, we lost to Brooklyn at home. Now we got the Hogs, and this team's playing horrible, because that was the mindset when we played Brooklyn at home. Like we were playing horrible basketball. So I think that we'll improve on that. Schedule improves. Like things like the clouds kind of clear a little bit, so to say.
Yeah,
I know you just want to be pessimistic, but
no, I'm usually not that pessimistic. It's just like I said, I'm hoping you're right and that all those things will come together. I just haven't seen him materialize on the court yet, so I'm waiting for that to happen. But if we come out of this stretch of games you just talked about and we're still not winning games and we're still winning at like a 40% clip or something, I think that's pretty much the season there. If because now we're starting to get past the point where we had the hard schedule before the season started, and then into this what should be an easier part of the schedule. And if we can't fight our way through that part of it without being somewhat respectable, then we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, we'll know by Christmas.
Yeah.
Just be around 500 at Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mid-February through mid-March is another very insanely easy stretch. And I expect us to be in a position with Nurkic back. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I expect us to be in a position with him back, maybe the roster upgrade where we'll literally rattle off possibly like a insane winning streak, or we'll win 12 and 13 games. You know what I mean? Like that's something that the Blazers have done in previous seasons too, because they've had a similar schedule. The thing is, the stretches after the All-Star break in past seasons weren't as easy as the stretch 2 games before the All-Star break until like mid-March. Like that's such an easy stretch that if we're hovering around 500, or if we're only like 2-3 games above 500 after that stretch, we could be 9-10 games above 500. You know what I mean? And then we're looking at like upper 40s in terms of wins, and that's a playoff spot. So that's the thing. Like, I'm very patient in terms of riding off this season. Very, very patient. Blazer fans are already doing it. I think it's not Blazer fans in general. Like some Blazer fans are already riding off this season. I think that's a bit ridiculous. I think it's way too early, given how our schedule and how our season will shape up with getting Nurkic back, possible upgrades, and then schedule.
Yeah, we've talked about this. Just grind out some wins here. Even if you're playing bad, you just got to like find a way to win a few of these games and hover around a point where you're still, just a few games out of a playoff spot. But yeah, if they start to lose, like what if they lose out on this road trip and then come home and lose some of those home games, then it's going to be panic time, I think. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm not predicting it's going to happen. Hopefully Dame's fine after resting a couple games and he comes back to where he was at the beginning of the season. Stotts hopefully learns his lesson not to play him too much, and then the addition of Melo takes some pressure off him a little bit and they start to play better. But yeah, it's really iffy right now. It's just hard to watch them sometimes when it's just so obvious like how they could play better even with the guys they're down, and they're not seemingly doing it for 48 minutes, and it's frustrating.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's like 5 different games where I'm like, okay, we should have won that game. Like we should be 10. We should be 10-5 right now. Or 9-6. Like there's a lot of games that we should have taken care of. Philadelphia game we should have taken care of. Brooklyn at home with Dame scoring 60. That's a game we should have won. The Warriors on the road. Like how did we give that one up? You know what I mean? Like, and if we weren't riding Dame into the ground and he was still healthy, Pelicans on the road. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, that's the thing, is there's a lot of, did I even say Philadelphia? Did I even say Philadelphia in that?
I think we missed them.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like, that's the thing, man. It's not like we're getting smoked every game. We've gotten smoked the past 2 games, but it's not like we're getting smoked every game, even though we're playing terrible. So that's the thing is normally I'd be pessimistic in this scenario. This is the first time that we've had like a start like this, and I haven't been pessimistic. You've known me for a little while. You know, like I, in this situation, I don't know, a couple years ago, I don't know if we go back that long, but I was so pessimistic a couple years ago when we started very slow, because we had a very slow start, and we were like around 500. And I was like, this team just isn't good. We're just not, you know what I mean? Like, I was very pessimistic. Right now, I'm not pessimistic. Tired of losing, But
you and I are both trying to figure out each of the past 2 or 3 seasons, like ways to get rid of Turner, Harkless, and Leonard
yeah,
without giving up too many assets and to try and create cap space or something. Um, but yeah, it sucks because we talked about the team needing a spark or just something to light a little bit of a fire, and I think they got that when they signed Melo, but then Dame being out kind of
yeah. I mean,
makes that not effective as it should be.
yeah,
So hopefully it's just this is the last game of it and he's fine,
yep.
and they just realize that it's a good thing to rest him if he's going to be healthier after this game since it's a tough one anyway. I don't like giving up games like that, but I'm hoping it's for the best long term.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing is I even recommended it last night. Like, let's punt this Milwaukee game. Let's lose by 40. Let's set an NBA record for how much we lose by against Milwaukee game. Like, I literally don't care. And that post game stream will be completely upbeat, and I'm looking at a record at 5-11 right now.
Yeah.
Like, I've been thinking, okay, we're 5-11. We're 5-11. Like that's such an expected loss that it's gonna be whatever after it happens. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be completely indifferent on that. But moving forward, man, I think we'll figure some things out. I don't expect Stotts to figure out his weaknesses, but I think the team will start playing better. So I'm not optimistic in regards to Stotts. That's the only thing I'm not optimistic in regards to is Stotts. But yeah.
Can we promote Pau Gasol to head coach and then
I'd take Pau over Terry right now.
demote Stotts to assistant coach? that way we don't have to like pay him for doing
Everybody's
nothing.
like, oh, he lost Vanderpool. What do you expect him to do? It's like, if you need to rely on your assistant coach in order for you to be a good coach, you're probably not a good coach regardless. I'm tired of the Vanderpool.
And like we talked about, the defense wasn't that great outside of Nurkic in years past under Vanderpool either. So
Yeah. So anyway, I've been on the record saying I think Yusuf Nurkic will return in January. A lot of fans are saying February, or early March. I think it will be mid to late January. There was a report by Mark Spears. He was on air. He said, God, what was the quote? Because I know he butchered the quote a little bit. He said Nurkic might return close. Nurkic might return sooner than possible, or something like that. Basically, he meant to say Nurkic might return sooner than expected. The expectation has been around the All-Star break, which is a conservative timeline. That's what I keep saying, man. It's such a February's such a conservative return date because he didn't have ligament damage. He didn't have nerve damage. That injury happened on March 25th of 2019, and you're saying 11-month recovery is what is expected. I think that's a little conservative, and I thought that was a little conservative. And then that report comes out from Mark Spears, and I'm like, okay, I believe it. That's kind of what I've been saying. And then Nurkic tweeted something now about no Nurk in 2019. I don't know. You guys can go look at his Twitter. He tweeted something about no Nurkic in 2019. That was from Nurkic himself. So, that rolls out December.
Yeah, so you are saying, okay, see you January 2nd then.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm expecting mid-January. Mid to late January, I'm expecting him to be ready to go, because that would put the time between his injury and his return at 10 months.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree? Or
no, I mean, we completely disagree on this. We've talked about this before. I know what you're saying makes complete sense. It's just we're not there. We don't see how his rehab's going, so I can't. Anything I say is just a complete guess or speculation. So
I mean, it's based on injuries like that in the past. I think Gordon Hayward would have returned in 10 months just based on the talk around him. Paul George returned in 8 months?
Yeah.
7 months, something like that. And he didn't even have to, and he still did, which means he was ready to go.
Yep.
If Nurkic returned in 7 months, he'd be playing right now. And then Mark Spears' quote. Like, it's not just,
Yep.
I'm not just going off of nothing. I'm going off of injuries like that in the past, and I'm basing it off of that Mark Spears quote, because I believe he wouldn't have said that unless he, like, heard a little something. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, Nurkic is shooting around. There's that clip of him shooting, obviously it's different playing in a game, but, like, the dude's, like, shooting fadeaways off his left leg, which was the leg he broke and stuff, and you're gonna tell me like he's not gonna be able to be ready 2 months from now? I don't know, man. Like he looks comfortable. He was doing like workouts where he was putting all his weight onto his left leg months ago. Like he was doing like sideways bounds and stuff onto his left leg months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like August, September, and so I'm expecting January. There's literally nothing that says that it would be later than January other than the conservative timetable they've set, but that wasn't even like a set-in-stone timetable at all.
Well, I mean, I hope you're right. I'm not saying you can't be right or anything. I'm just going by what the team said so far, and it's very rare that a player comes back much before like a date that a team sets. So
I'm hoping you're treating that as if that date is set in stone, though.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's set
and it wasn't
in
a
stone.
hard timetable.
I know it's not a hard timetable, but it's the same thing. That I mean, you do the same thing with the reevaluation of 4 months of Zach Collins. You said like, oh no, they could reevaluate him sooner, and he could be back before that. That's what you said.
And that's not what I said. I said before they came out with his 4 month timetable, I was saying, okay, if he doesn't have surgery, that's what I was saying.
No, even after the 4 month designation, you said that it was a reevaluation. It doesn't mean that he was for sure out for 4 months.
No, I said that it didn't mean that he was going to miss this. I said he didn't mean that he was going to miss the season because fans were like, oh, he's going to miss the season. He's going to miss the season. Yeah. That reevaluation date is going to be March 1st. I was saying, good chance he could play in March. Because that's when that reevaluation. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could go and find it.
I'll go back and look.
Yeah, go find it, and then prove it. But and it's two different situations. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Nurkic is a different situation than Collins. I've been saying January. The thing is, February is like their like rough tentative return date. Like around the All-Star break. The All-Star break starts February 12th, I believe. So you're talking about him returning 2 weeks earlier in terms of like a 10-month rehab? I don't think that's crazy to say at all. Given the signs too.
I'm not saying it's crazy. I'm just not going to speculate that I think he's going to be back before February when, I mean, other than one person saying he's closer than expected, I don't really know. I really hope you're right. I hope he's back soon and he's fine. And
I mean, it's based off more than just that, but
he would save our season right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's also based off other injuries. It's not just what Mark Spears said. It's not just that. I've been saying that before, just based off.
I know. That's what I said.
Like
You've
that
been consistent with it all year.
So 9-month recovery is usually as much as it takes to return from that type of injury when you don't have any ligament and nerve damage. That's also the important thing with Nurkic to remember is like if he had nerve damage, he'd be having to like work through that right now, and that takes a while. If he had ligament damage, if he messed up something in his knee, then that makes it a different injury altogether.
Right.
It was literally just a clean break.
I just think, like, especially with the way the season's going so far, they could just shelf him for longer than he needs to be just to be on the safe side. And I know that's kind of stupid. And you're saying that if he's ready to play, he should play, which I agree with. I just think that they're going to be extra cautious with him, knowing the injuries of some of our centers in the past. And then
I just don't see the logic behind being like extra cautious, because it's not like it's a ligament. Like if the bone's like, they can tell if the bone's like fully healed, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like if it's fully healed and strong, he'll be good to go. There's no like point in being cautious because he'll be 100%, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing is late January is 10 months after, because it happened late March of this year. So late January is 10 months. That's a conservative timetable altogether. That's them being cautious to me. That's them making sure it's 100% is like a 10-month timetable. Because that's crazy long.
Yeah, but I mean, you're basing it off of 2 injuries. Like we don't. I mean, who knows? I know it's different.
I mean, it's more than that. I looked
with like
it up.
Ligaments and stuff, but like, Adrian Peterson comes back 8 months in the NFL after an ACL tear, and he's great. Meanwhile, it takes some people like 2 years to ever be themselves again after a same injury. It's I know, like you're saying, broken bones are different, but like every situation is a little different.
Oh, for sure. I'm not guaranteeing he returns in January. I'm saying I think that he will. That's all I'm saying. Just based off all the I'm reading the tea leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So also, I hope he returns in January. I hope he returns as soon as possible because we need that.
Yeah,
man.
I hope
we
so
need
too.
Nurkic fever. We need to get infected.
That's for sure.
But yeah, man. We'll
he
see.
literally masked all our issues with coaching and stuff. So
Yep, for sure, man. We need that man back. The thing is, the sooner we get that man back, the sooner we can trade Whiteside for a piece. Honestly, right now, if we could trade Whiteside for Blake Griffin, I'd do it, and I'd start maybe Blake Griffin at the 5, which gets risky in itself. But like, I don't know, man. Because that's the thing. Once Nurkic is back, you'd slide Blake Griffin over to the 4. I don't know.
Well, like we could include Trent and then just pick up Joakim Noah or someone with the extra, and we'd have an extra roster spot with the Gasol waiving today.
Fareed is overseas, but maybe could go get him. I don't know, but anyway, that's everything we wanted to cover. Other than over under picks, and I'll start making graphics for these. I'll start like making this segment like nice graphically. That'll be dope. But how we do this, for those of you who don't know, we got 70 people in this chat, a little bit more than usual for a podcast. How we do this is we give spread lines on tonight's games. Now, I know some games have probably already started, but we haven't looked at any of the scores. Also recommend that you guys don't look at any of the scores. And Eric will say such and such team is favored by 5 points. Let's say, for example, the Blazers are favored by 5 points over the Bucks. That's a ridiculous. Let's say the Bucks are favored by 12 points over the Blazers. I don't know why I went with that one. Let's say the Bucks are favored by 12 points over the Blazers. If you take Blazers, that means you think that the Bucks will win by less than 12 or the Blazers will win. If you take the Bucks, that means you think the Bucks will cover the spread that they're favored by, which would be 12 points. So you think the Bucks would win by 12 points or more. That's basically how that works. So we have the chat vote on these two. How did me, you, and the chat do on Monday?
So on Monday, you were 7-2, right back to being hot again.
Yes, sir.
The chat and myself were both 5-4. That was the first plus 500 week for the chat, or day for the chat. So good job, guys.
So what's our overall records?
Overall, the chat is 10-18. I am 22-20, and you regained the 1-game lead over me at 23-19.
We gotta put something on the line for this for me and you, and also chat. We'll do some sort of giveaway or something for chat if chat ends up winning. We'll do something for you guys. So we got 11 games tonight, so we got to roll through these.
Since there's so many games, let's just say the first 5 people to respond will take the best out of those 5. Yep,
that's a good idea. Yep.
All right, so the first game is San Antonio is a 2-point favorite in Washington tonight.
Who you got?
I am taking Washington. I'm sick of taking the Spurs. They're playing like crap lately.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sick of I've been picking against the Spurs too. I'm taking. Actually, I'm gonna take the Spurs.
All right.
They're the better team. They're the better team.
That's very true, but yeah.
So chat, who you got? Wizards or Spurs?
All right, we got one Spurs.
I'm waiting for this. The answers.
One Washington, one Spurs. 2-1 right now.
We'll go into the next game. Who we got? Okay, we got.
All right, so next game is New York Knicks are 12.5-point underdogs at the Philadelphia 76ers. So Philadelphia is favored by 12.5.
12.5 is a huge line. Mitchell Robinson's a great defensive center. By the way, chat's rolling with Spurs.
Okay. I'm taking the Knicks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Knicks.
There's a lot of big spreads tonight, and I just kind of went with the underdog to getting that many points.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Sixers win by like 9, 10 points. Mitchell Robinson's a good center to put on Embiid. We'll see how that goes. 12.5 was the spread for the 76ers against the Knicks. And I'll have pictures here that make it like a little bit more clear for you guys. Like that's the plan. I'll have like the teams playing in the spread, and I'll like cycle through them.
So chat's taking the 76ers.
As I said, chat has the tendency to pick the favorite. They think the Sixers will win by 13 points or more. We'll see. We'll see if that happens for sure.
All right, so next game is also a huge spread. It's Golden State Warriors at the Dallas Mavericks, and the Mavericks are 14-point favorites. I am once again taking Golden State just because a 14 is a huge spread, even if...
I'm shocked at that spread, honestly. Yeah, I'm taking the Warriors as well. Can't give a team 14 points that's not like a great team. You know, if that's Bucks and Warriors, then yeah. If that's Bucks and Blazers, then I take the Bucks. But Dallas, 14-point spread, I'm not taking that. Taking the Warriors.
All right, so we got Mavericks, no question. Mavs. So it's 2-2. Okay, Warriors win with the third vote out of the 5. All right.
You think Mavericks win by more than 14 points? No question.
I guess. I mean, Mavericks are going to win, no question. But yeah. So next game is Charlotte at Brooklyn. Brooklyn is 4.5-point favorites despite Kyrie not playing again tonight.
I'm taking Charlotte. They got killed by 30 against the Pacers without Kyrie, and the Pacers didn't have Malcolm Brogdon. Charlotte's been a okay team. Nets without Kyrie are trash in my opinion. So them being favored by 4, they might win this game, but it'll be very, very close. So I'm going to take the Hornets with the points. All
right. So the first 5, we had 3 Hornets and 2 Brooklyn, so it's Charlotte.
There we go. They're picking the underdog. Chat's right. Learning on the job here.
So our opponent tomorrow night, the Milwaukee Bucks, are in Atlanta tonight, which would normally be a good thing for us, to them playing on the road.
It don't matter. Yeah.
But they are 11-point favorites in Atlanta tonight. And once again, high point spread. I'm just going to take the home team and take Atlanta.
I'm going to take the Bucks.
Okay.
I'm going to take the team with the spread for this one because Milwaukee's a good team. Milwaukee's a lot better than Atlanta. I think that'll be a blowout. But that is a tough pick. They're all tough picks. That's why they established the spread like they do. But I'm taking Milwaukee. We got chat rolling with Atlanta.
All right. Okay, next up we have, for some reason, a point spread that isn't as close as I think it should, or isn't a big spread when I think it should probably be. It's Orlando at Toronto, and Toronto's only a 3-point favorite.
Taking Toronto 100%. They are without players, but Orlando hasn't been playing that well.
Toronto's been playing pretty good too, even without those players. So we got
that's probably going to be the easiest pick of the
night. 1
in
for
my
each,
opinion.
2 for Toronto, 3 for Toronto. Okay, so Toronto it is.
Your chat's ahead of mine. That's what I just realized. Damn.
All right, so another big point spread. Cleveland is in Miami, and Miami is 10-point favorites.
I'm taking Miami.
Okay.
I took Cleveland to cover like a 8-point spread or something like that against the Knicks, and that was one of the games I lost. The Knicks won by like 30 or something, so I think they won by 20 or 30, so I'm picking against Cleveland. I'm picking Miami.
All right. So, Miami is the chat's pick as well. And I'm taking Cleveland just once again.
All the
theme of tonight is if I'm getting double-digit points, I took them because that's a lot, and there's been a lot of close games, even with bad teams lately. So
if there's blowouts, you're screwed.
Yeah, pretty much, unless the team that's underdog wins.
Yeah.
All right, so next game is Detroit is in Chicago, and Detroit is favored by 1 point, so it's basically a pick 'em.
Taking Detroit.
Okay. I am sick of taking Detroit once again, so I'm going to take Chicago at home.
Detroit's just better team, and that's
I
not
know.
much of a spread.
Oh, I
Chicago
agree.
isn't that great of a team.
Got 2-1 in favor of Detroit right now. So
I know
two to
Detroit's struggling, but they have
oh,
a lot of individual players playing well.
so the first five there was three Detroit. So Detroit is the winner.
Yep.
All right, and then I think these teams just played in Utah a couple nights
Cubs.
ago.
We got to
What?
pick for the Cubs.
Nice. Baseball season's over.
Yeah.
Utah is 3-point favorites in Minnesota.
I'm taking Minnesota.
Okay. I'm going
That's
to
an
take
easy pick.
Utah.
Minnesota's been playing great, man.
Yep. I
Utah's been
think,
struggling too.
like I said, I think these teams just played a few nights ago, and Utah was big favorites at home, and Minnesota killed them, I think. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Utah gets them back this game, but we'll see.
In
All right.
Minnesota, Utah favored. Yeah, easy Minnesota.
Minnesota, 4 out of the first five. So,
Yep, Chad agrees
Chat.
with me.
I,
Chat knows to
I,
follow my lead, not yours.
I don't know if that's a good thing, though, because if Chad agrees with you, they're going to lose.
True. They can't agree with every pick because I'm already ahead of them.
All right. This is by far the best game of the night. We have Houston in Denver, and Denver is 1-point favorite, so basically another pick'em game.
Who you taking?
I'm going to take Denver at home. I know they don't play Houston very well, but I think Denver's going to have a good game tonight.
I'm taking Houston. Denver's been struggling a bit despite their record. Like individually, they've been struggling a bit. Monte Morris isn't playing the same. Malik Beasley isn't playing the same. Jokic is not. He hasn't been efficient so far this season. His numbers are down. So Denver's a team that hasn't really played much stiff competition, in my opinion. Houston is playing great. They really don't have anybody to guard James Harden. So then again, who does? You know what I mean? Because the refs are on his
Gary
side.
Harris
But
is
he's decent. But he's a I don't know. You'd want a
they're going to
big
put
wing to put on James Harden. I think that's how you guard James
Torrey
Harden the
Craig
best.
on him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Torrey Craig's only 6'6". Like like a Mo Harkless, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George type of defender, I think is the best way to guard James Harden. I think you can have a great defender, and if he's not taller than James Harden will still get all the same shots off and get all the same calls. And that's the thing. He kind of uses like good defense against the opponent with the way he draws fouls, which I think is BS, and I think is kind of a sham to the game, but the refs buy it. So, yeah, I got Houston winning that game.
So, chat, the first five, we had 3 Denvers and 2 Houstons. So, we're going Denver. And just real quick, chat. So, Tori either picks them almost all right or almost all wrong. So, he's either all right or all wrong. So, I've been consistent pretty much around 500.
I've been more right than you, though.
By one game, yes, but I've been consistently okay.
Consistently average. Congrats.
Yes.
I'd rather be sometimes great than always average.
Hey, man, against the spread is pretty hard.
True.
All right, last game of the night, we got Boston in LA to take on the Clippers, and the Clippers are 7.5-point favorites. And keep in mind, this will be the first game of both Kawhi and Paul George playing.
Wow, that's a tough game to pick. Because Kawhi might not play like his normal allotment of minutes. I'm gonna take.
Okay, we got 4 Boston, 1 LA, so we're going Boston for the chat. I am also taking Boston simply because that spread's a little high at 7.5, even though I think the Clippers are going to play really well tonight with both of those guys.
I'm gonna take the Clippers because I think Kemba's gonna struggle because he's gonna be guarded. He's probably gonna be guarded by Kawhi or Paul George, man. And that size differential and how good defensively those guys are, like I think Kemba's going to struggle to get shots off. Yeah. I don't know who they plan on starting as the other forward with those 3 guys, but if it's Harkless can do a good job on Tatum. I'd like the way the Clippers match up with Boston. So I got the Clippers. I think the Clippers will win by like 10 to 12 points.
That's it for the slate tonight. And the chat, like I said, took Boston, even though there's some late Clipper votes.
Yep.
Austin Whack, like every time he's like the 6th vote.
Yeah.
Or sorry, it's not Whack, right? How do you pronounce it?
Wake.
Wake. Whack.
Wakiki. See, Tori knows what's up. I do know what's up. I got all the right picks. So anyway,
we'll see tonight.
Yeah, I'll watch some NBA basketball tonight because I don't have. Actually, yeah, I don't have rec league. Got my championship coming up next Tuesday. Got it moved from Thursday, so we'll be fine for a post game stream on Thursday. It was supposed to be on Thursday, but we got it next Tuesday. I got to win a championship, bro, because I keep like choke my teams, me included, keep choking in the playoffs. So gotta win Tuesday. I'll let y'all know how that goes.
At least the 3-on-3 we didn't choke, right?
Also level of competition though.
All right.
We gotta like motivate some real ballers in the media, which are few and far between, but we gotta try and get. I don't know, man. I want more competition next year in that 3-on-3 tournament, especially since people know who you are now. Got more of a like a close knit community now.
Yeah.
Next year's 3-on-3 tournament will be fun.
He says it is whack.
It is whack. Okay.
He just didn't like that you said that's whack, and he was like, "Come on."
Oh, that's whack. I didn't even think about that. I remember him saying something like that, and I was like, "What is he talking about?" That's funny. Yeah, man. So we'll have a post game show tomorrow. Right? Yeah, we'll have a post game show tomorrow. I don't know if you'll be on that. I don't know if you'll want to be on that. That'll be I don't know. We're just gonna literally. I don't even know how much we'll talk about the game tomorrow. I'll just chill and we can. I'll just chill with chat, honestly, because that game's going to be that's such a scheduled loss, man. That game's gonna be so rough tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more time to ask me questions. Go to the community tab of the channel. And there's a prompt for mailbag questions. I'm going to do that video tomorrow instead. I said I was going to do it today because the Melo news broke, so I postponed my mailbag because I was covering Melo. And I wanted to give you guys time to see Melo and then ask me a question maybe based on what you've seen from Melo. So I will do that video tomorrow probably because I don't have to do a podcast either, so I'll probably do that. So go to the community tab. If you have a question for me, go to the community tab and ask the question on the latest post. Also, if you guys aren't familiar with the community tab, that's a great way for me to talk to you guys. I'm going to announce this now for the people in this chat. I will have a shirt design. Maybe a couple different designs for people to vote on for a Melo-based hoodie. Like you said, keep Portland Melo. Got that in the works. My guy Anime Jake, some of you guys may know his name from the comment sections from the chat, but we are putting together a Melo hoodie. The design's gonna be cool, man. It's just gonna be Melo in a hoodie on a hoodie. Is with the caption "Keep Portland Melo," and it's just gonna be like black and white. Just thought that'd be a dope kind of novelty item or something. Just like the first shirt to put out. Might not be for all you guys, but that'll go on sale, and I'll do like a giveaway with that. Yeah, that'll be dope. That'll be dope.
And like you said, Melo's gonna get 50 shots tomorrow night. So
exactly. So I will have you guys. I'll have a couple different designs for the shirt. Kind of, it'll be similar, but a couple different little changes, and I'll have you guys vote on which one you think is the best. So if you don't follow the community tab, you guys should keep updated with the community tab of this channel because I do post in there and I do announce some things and I ask for mailbag questions in there from time to time and that type of thing. So anyway, that's it for this podcast. Really enjoyed this podcast. Really enjoyed making all the right picks. And that's that. We're starting to lag at the perfect time because we're about I just saw the green light turn red, so that means that it's time for us to go. So anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow for sure.
Later, bro.
After that loss, man. You gonna want to come on that podcast or on that post game show?
I'll be at work. I might be able to, but it'd be kind of tricky. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a game's gonna be I don't know. Game's gonna be awful. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be bad. It's gonna be awful. We're gonna lose by 30, but that'll be fine. We expect it. So anyway, I'll catch you guys after.
You might have some good storylines to talk about with some of the young guys playing.
Oh, for sure. You know, maybe Trent drops 50 points. Maybe Melo drops 10 points on 50 shots. You know, who knows? So I'll catch you guys then. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Go Blazers.